So we're back at CES Motorsport. Today we're talking about the 2023 6MT manual trans Supra that has come out from Toyota with the new 6-speed gearbox to replace the 8HP 8-speed auto trans. So this one came straight off the showroom floor. Customer drove straight from Maryland down to the shop and dropped it off and wanted to get some upgrades done. He wanted the full bolt-on package, wanted to keep the stock turbo, but wanted to maximize the power output out of the car. So basically we decided we were going to do the full bolt-on package that we offer plus the meth injection upgrade kit and do a custom E50 meth injection tune for the car to maximize the power output. Obviously when we did that, we exceeded the stock clutch capabilities because we were able to put a lot more torque out of the car once we did the full power package with the custom tuning and the meth injection. So we talked to Clutch Masters and they sent us a prototype FX1000 clutch kit with their upgraded hydraulic release bearing. If people aren't aware of what that is, it basically replaces the stock clutch fork, slave cylinder push pin, gets rid of that whole entire assembly, and it is a bolt-in piece with a hydraulic bearing that does the release on the clutch. We do have a video of this on our YouTube channel if you would like to check that out. It goes into more detail about what we did to upgrade the whole clutch assembly, but the end result was a 650 wheel torque car and a 550 wheel horsepower car that is a daily driver and can literally handle all the power. We've been extremely pleased with how this turned out. A lot of tuning was involved to get the tuning right. Spent a lot of hours street testing this car, but we're really pleased with the outcome of this setup. Customer should be really happy too. Can't wait for him to get it back and to get his driving impressions and obviously yours. The end result is a culmination of a lot of good parts coming together, a lot of good tuning that we've done on the car, and transforms the 6MT into an incredible machine that even in its stock form was good, but at this level, man, I could literally daily this car. I mean, we drive the big horsepower Supras all the time, and this one is just so much fun. All the power is there, all of it's usable. It's well within the limits of what the factory chassis can handle. We did obviously do an upgraded suspension, which we do recommend when you start getting into these kind of power levels, but the end result is just a fantastic, well-balanced machine that makes a lot of torque, a lot of power, and is just so much fun to drive.
Right out of the gate.
I'll just bump it in a second a little bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Feels really good.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad for a stock turbo car. Holy crap.
Dude, spent a lot of time on this one to get it right, but yeah, even at lower power, like even at 2500 in fourth gear, you know, you kind of lay into it. It's got that low end torque. Yeah, really definitely pulls the car out of the roll. And
spools nice and quick.
It feels great. Definitely amazing feel. I've really enjoyed the manual trans.
I know, right? Me too.
It took a while, like I said, to get the tuning sorted, but man, at the end of the day, this thing is so much fun to drive at this power level. Yeah. And I mean, cruising, everything feels good.
Normal, easy to drive.
The clutch is actually really good. You know, we did the FX1000 Clutch Masters with the upgraded hydraulic release bearing. Yep. And that has been flawless as far as clutch feel and the power delivery.
Because I remember driving this car when we did the clutch, and it felt great. I actually broke in. I did all the break-in miles.
I remember. Yeah.
It was like the 200 break-in miles, and I was just driving it every day. It was actually really nice to live with. But it's easy to drive.
It is.
Like, it's not bad at all. You know, to have such a clutch that can handle that much power, you would think that it would be kind of difficult. It's been great.
The kind of power that it can handle and the torque that it can handle to the wheels. I mean, they put these in the really high horsepower cars holding 1,000 plus torque and horsepower. Yeah. And for it to be a daily driver clutch, it does really feel you know, amazing, considering driving it on the street and driving it on the highway. I mean, the gearing is actually not that bad either. Cruising around, you know, you can be at 6 to 2,000 RPM, and it has, you know, definitely still has a little bit of grunt in it just because of the way the stock turbo is, and we were able to put a lot more torque through the entire driveline just because we have the manual trans instead of the auto trans that is going to require upgrades when you go over 600 wheel torque. We were actually able to get 650 wheel torque out of the car and I think we made as much as 550 wheel horsepower with the final tuning that we did.
So I think one of the things that a lot of people were asking is how much torque and power the manual trans can handle.
So I think we're at a good, comfortable level right here. You know, anything more than that, I think you're going to start breaking stuff. Eventually, like if you try and get into the 700 plus torque range. And also, you're really taxing the stock turbo at that point as well when you start doing that. Same thing with the horsepower levels. I mean, you know, obviously this is a custom, you know, E50 blend with our meth injection setup on it to make those kind of power numbers reliably. But the daily driver aspect of it has really been phenomenal, because you can drive this car, the meth is not spraying so much where, you know, it's gone in like 30 minutes. You can drive the car multiple days where we're having to worry about.
And you can always switch it up too. You can switch it back to 93 no meth if you need to.
That's it.
It's like
all the OTS maps on MHD work. So we've tested those as well, and those made good power. But obviously this one has the most power because it's the custom tuning that we did on the car, and we have the meth added in there for. Well,
you can definitely feel the difference with the meth. When I drove it, it was just the 93 like base map tune right after we did the clutch, and the E50 with the meth is it's a different animal.
Oh yeah,
it's like a whole new car. It's pretty crazy how fast
it
is. I mean it's fast, dude. It's fast.
It feels great.
Yeah, it feels really good. Feels really good.
Like I said, you know, we drive all the, you know, much bigger horsepower Supras that we do, and I absolutely am in love with this one.
It's punchy.
And it's engaging, and with the manual, which I was totally not used to when we first got in this car. I was like, what is this thing? It just makes the whole driving experience even that much more enjoyable, and I feel like this power level just transforms the way the car feels even with this transmission. So
I agree.
I've been really excited about it.
And there's something to be said about a fast manual car.
There is.
You know what I mean?
There is.
Bring us back to the E36
it's a dying breed, you know, save the manuals, as we say. But it's just a different driving experience altogether.
Yeah, for sure.
Being able to kind of control the car a little bit more, staying in a gear, choosing which one you want, and having that, you know, that overall driver engagement, like we're talking about.
They did a good job on the manual.
They really did.
Like it's a good feeling manual. It doesn't feel rubbery, notchy, weird.
Very clean, smooth shifts.
It's nice, man.
Drifter knob is good, and just the overall drivability of the car, even with these upgrades, it still feels like it's an OEM build, and that was the ultimate goal, to try to have the smoothness and the drivability, and still have that power there. And I mean, you know, these kind of power levers that we make on the Autotrans cars are, you know, at least, you know, high to mid 10-second cars.
Oh yeah.
You know, with that kind of power.
Sometimes when you get into those higher horsepowers, it can take away from the daily drivability.
Right.
It doesn't feel like that. It feels totally normal.
And that was one of the biggest things that I think the customer wanted, was just to maximize the power output of the car.
Yeah.
But so that he could really enjoy and keep that kind of daily driven reliability out of it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of customers want to go the big turbo route and make more power, this and that and the other, but this package right here, I think, is going to be a really hot seller to a lot of 6MT customers who want to get that extra level out of the car.
We're seeing more and more of them. More and more of the manual transmissions popping up for the Supras.
And it's got, you know, the auto blip if you want to leave that on. And then, I mean, here we are cruising 55 miles an hour, and you just lay into them. It's just like, they're just going.
Oh my God.
So
this thing rips, dude. It's good. It's good.
Controllable power.
He's going to be really happy with this.
Oh, yeah. You can do the one traction off for the traction control. That's how I've been driving the car.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people were a little concerned about, you know, how the clutch sounds and, you know, vibration and things like that. We did change the weight of the trans fluid to a higher weight, just to help, since it is a much more high-powered clutch and it is a twin disc setup,
to suppress some of the vibration.
And that seems to have really helped and done the trick. I know we talked with Luis at Clutch Masters, and he said a lot of their G82 customers that run the clutches and the M3, M4s, they do that, and that seems to do the trick.
What was the weight?
So it's the Redline 75-140, I believe, the shockproof gear oil.
Okay, yeah.
And Still some minimal vibration here or there. It's
Yeah.
not completely gone, I will say that, but hardly noticeable. I mean, you've been in the car.
I haven't noticed anything.
Yeah, I mean, I can make it do it if we kind of cruise at a specific RPM and specific gear.
Yeah.
So like most of the times it's off throttle. So like, you know, let's say you're in third gear. If I do this, you can't really feel it. If I'm in fourth, you see how you feel that a little bit?
Yeah, it's so minimal though.
Yeah, and it's kind of gear dependent, to be honest with you. I've noticed that. But you know, how many times are you driving and you're like have your foot completely off the gas?
Yeah, right. And I kind of noticed that you had it in a gear that was pretty high and a really low RPM, so, which is kind of
and it depends.
Awkward.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
Here you're in fourth at 55 miles an hour.
Right.
You know, there's some, and it changes. Like I said, with you know, what gear you're in and what RPM you're at, what speed you're at. So it's the best yet that we've had it set up, barring, you know, pulling everything out and checking the whole entire system, which I think we're still going to do anyway, just because this is the prototype setup for the Supras that we've been testing.
Yep.
We want to make sure everything still looks good.
Yeah.
And then that'll be the final test before we throw it all back together and send her home.
And if they want this power level, torque level, will they need to go with that clutch?
They will.
Yeah.
So it will overwhelm the stock clutch.
Yeah, you'll start slipping.
It starts flapping and slipping. You know, even when we got into the anything above pretty much the OTS maps that are available for the car.
Yeah.
Once we started really pushing the torque out of it, the stock clutch wasn't happy.
Yeah.
So it would be with this clutch package if you wanted to have this power level with that tuning.
Cool. Very cool. Well, what I think we're going to do is I'm going to actually drive. So, and I'll give you guys like my thoughts, because I haven't driven this car since it was just a base map 93 octane and I was braking the clutch. I never even got to really get on the acceleration much. So it'll be cool to actually feel it now. It's a different car, man, completely. I can already tell.
Totally transformed the car, man.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Just barely touching it.
Dude, it's so snappy.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels great.
But it's controllable.
Yeah, oh yeah, completely.
So
yeah,
it's not like
it's not scary.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
it's not 900,000 horsepower.
You can enjoy all of it.
Yeah.
I think we perfectly balanced out the power and the torque.
For sure.
With this setup, and like I said, I think it will be a hugely popular package for 6MT customers that want to kind of take it to the next level without actually going too crazy with the build. You know, it's not overly expensive to get a package like this done on the car.
Right.
And with the amount of time that we've spent on this tuning, I mean, it's pretty dialed.
Dude, it feels like it is. It feels like it's dialed.
And it was definitely a labor of love. I mean, we spent a lot of time on it. But, you know, the end result is we can deliver, you know, this kind of a package. And I'm real excited about it.
All right. First impressions. Immediately gets sideways. But he's got the KWV3 coils on this car, and man, it drives so good. This, coupled with the clutch and all of the upgrades that they've done on this car, this thing it's come a long way. It's been a lot of testing, but it's worth it. It was worth the wait to get it right. Jesus. It's fast. It's fast, man. It is fast. Feels really good. Thing rips. That's the thing about this setup, is you could just daily drive this car and have no issues. It would be really, really easy. But then you can switch over to like race mode and throw in your meth and your E50 tune, and it is a rocket, dude. Which is just fun when you have a manual car that's fast like that. Just that much more fun. Still got the auto rev match stuff going on, but you can always turn that off if you're not a fan of it. Personally, I would probably turn it off. Just so smooth. This clutch is feeling really good too now that it's all broken in. It was a really stiff clutch in the beginning when we first installed it, and now that we have some good mileage on the clutch, it just feels, dude, it feels so good. So good. Highly recommend this clutch if you guys are trying to make some more power out of your Supra. This is definitely the way to go, just because it can handle so much more power. It's so fun to drive, man. I love the autos, don't get me wrong. And the autos are going to be faster, but dude, the manual is so fun to drive. Jeez, man. It's crazy. Just that little bit of meth injection and the E50 just brings this car to life. And like I said before, the last time I drove this car, it was on 93, like a base map tune. It has way more power and way more torque now. It's nice to see that the manual transmissions are holding up with that much torque and that much power. A lot of people were worried about that at the beginning, like, oh, how much is that transmission going to be able to hold? But I mean, it's no different than the automatic transmissions. You got to start building them once you get into the 700s. All the other components start to fail as well. So it's just like, it's one of those things, how far do you want to take it, you know? How far do you really want to take it? Jesus, it's so fast, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh man, I love it.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we want to show you all the dyno information from all the work that we did on the car as we progress to the final numbers that we were talking about we did in the ride along and the drive. When the car came in, we obviously had the stock dyno numbers. This graph right here is actually a progression from how the car first came in until the final dyno numbers that we left the car at, and it's going to go home to the customer. The yellow line is actually the stock tune run, so that is no tuning whatsoever. It did include the bolt-ons that we did on the car, which are the downpipe, charge pipe, and cold air intake. This setup was an MST intake, CTS charge pipe, and our CES pipe low downpipe, but this is with bolt-ons tuned. So the car actually did very well. We dynoed the car in 5th gear with a 6-speed manual transmission, 408 to the tire, 402 to the tire. Really good power even in stock form. So obviously the customer wanted to take it to that next level. So we ended up doing the femto unlock on the car, and then we did the stage 2 MHD 93 OTS tuning. That put down a pretty solid 474 and about 530 torque at the wheels. This is typically what we see for the E30 or E40 blends on the auto trans cars. So it is transferring a little bit more power to the tires with the manual trans, which is really nice. After that, we decided we wanted to test the OTS E40 map with MHD also. So the blue line is the stage 2 E40 off-the-shelf map that MHD offers. And that's where we were able to get her into the 500 plus wheel horsepower range. It was right about 505 and about 560 torque. Very impressive numbers. So even if you did want a 6MT car and you wanted to get an MHD tuning package on the car, the OTS maps are going to get you in the 470s on pump gas and about 500 wheel on the E40 tune. Very impressive stuff. Customer wanted to take it to that next level. That's why we ended up going to a meth injection system to unlock the additional power out of the car. The green line that you see right there is actually the final dyno numbers where we left the car out after all the street tuning and all the revisions that we did to make it a very balanced power for the street and for the setup on the car. We did realize once we started getting into these power levels that the factory clutch could no longer hold up. So we ended up talking to Clutch Masters and they sent us an FX1000 clutch upgrade. We also did the new prototype hydro release bearing option on the car. That really gives the clutch pedal a wonderful feel and also gets rid of, you know, some of the other mechanics in there that we've discussed in other videos. But the bottom line is it's a great clutch setup. Drivability is excellent and it can hold everything that we throw at it. We did take it one step further from this, and I'd like to show you all this stuff next. So I might take off a couple of these graphs just to make it a little easier to look at and focus on the E50 meth tuning. So this is actually the custom E50 meth tune that we have, the final version for the street. Turn the power down, or the torque down actually a little bit, just to keep the stock motor happy. As you can see, we are approaching 600 wheel torque, definitely in the mid to high 500s, even by 3,000 RPM with this tune. But we actually wanted to push it and see how far we could take it with the tuning, and this was our maxed out version of the torque that we did out of the car with the FX 1000 clutch upgrade. So it was a 650 torque, 550 wheel horsepower car with stock turbo. E50 blend, our meth injection kit, doing a single jet with 100% M1. This was a little bit more uncontrollable on the street, and we also did not want to be pushing, you know, the 6 to 650 wheel torque numbers that low in the RPM with the stock motor. So on the air of caution and for daily drivability and just overall longevity, we turned it down a little bit, and the green line is going to be the actual numbers that we are going to sell with a custom tuning package for the 6MT cars. This is what you saw when we were driving on the street, and all the driving impressions was this exact power band. The car literally came off the street, went on the dyno, and put that number to the ground just now. So you can go to our website, cesmotorsport.com, give us a call at the shop anytime. We haven't listed the package up yet, but we'll be putting something together where you can either purchase the FBO package with the custom tune, and we can get all that set up for you, or however you want to set it up. But we'll be offering these tunes for any 6MT customer that wants to have a package like this and this kind of power level out of their car.
So they can basically just go buy a manual Supra, bring it here, buy the package, and get this.
Correct. And the tuning has been worked out. We spent a lot of time on it, like we were saying. You know, thank you again, you know, Pure Boost, Fabian, MHD guys. You know, they've been very instrumental in moving this along to develop this kind of tuning package for this car. It's not easy to get this stuff done to this level and this consistency, and we, you know, put a lot of man hours in it, but the end result is we're really pleased with it.
All right, guys, so that is going to wrap up the video on the manual Supra. Turned out really good, dude. That thing feels amazing on the street. Makes some great power. If you guys are interested in buying the package for any of your Supras, got a bunch of them here that we're always working on. Make sure you check out CES out here in Monroe, Charlotte, North Carolina, but we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.